Hello everyone, I am Laurel Ranbiñas and you can call me Teacher Lori. So before we start our discussion, let's start our day with prayers. So who wants to lead the prayer?
Can I lead, ma'am?
Yes, Nak Angeline, please lead us on our prayer.
Dear God, for your protection and love, we thank you. Help us to focus our hearts and minds now on what we are about to learn. Guide us by your eternal light as we discover more about the world around us. Amen.
Okay, thank you, Nak. So now let's start with our discussion. So, our topic for today is global and the glocal teachers. So, global competence in teachers refers to a set of fundamental skills, critical attitudes, and behaviors that support the growth of learners' global competence. A globally competent teacher has knowledge of the world and critical global issues, their local impact, and the cultural backgrounds of the learners. It manifests intercultural sensitivity and acceptance of difference, incorporates this knowledge and sensitivity into classroom practice, and develops the skills to foster this disposition, knowledge, and performances in learners. In addition to setting up opportunities for students to take part in society, responsible action, the teacher also models it. It is according to VAGFOA, or Association of International Educators, in 2015. So, our world has been called a global village. Satellite communications make possible television, telephone, and documents transmitted through fax and electronic mails across thousands of miles in thousands of a second. So, through a global web of the information highway, the students can view international conflict in the Middle East, famine in Africa, industrial pollution in Europe, or technological advancements in Korea or Japan. So, the objectives of global education are diverse, ranging from enhancing one's understanding of different cultures to find answers to global issues. So, from improving one's proficiency in foreign language to cultivating more tolerant attitudes towards other peoples and cultures. So, the increased use of technology in the classroom, the incorporation of the shifting realities of our global society, and the ease of global mobility have all become challenges for your future teachers as they try to adopt contemporary curricula to the idea of this global village. So, the future teachers like you to plan to respond these multiple challenges. So, to become a global teacher, you should be equipped with a larger range of knowledge of the diverse educational system outside the country. Master skills and competencies which can handle global demands and possess attitudes and values that are acceptable to multicultural societies. So, when you are able to complete these needs, then you can fairly declare that you have prepared or you are prepared well to be a great teacher of the world. So, according to Robertson in 1992, a sociologist, in his article Glocalization, Time, Space, and Homogeneity, Heterogeneity, Robertson suggests to see the local as one aspect of globalization. So according to him, the term glocalization refers to the process by which local cultures gives meaning to global influences. He also claimed that the two are interconnected and mutually beneficial. So the glocalization in Oxford Dictionary of New Words It is described that the word glocal and the process noun word glocalization as a mixing of global and local conditions. A global vision adapted to local condition and the local condition to global perspectives. So you must combine the global and local perspective as future teacher. So you can be a global teacher and a local teacher at the same time if the local perspective based on the culture, tradition, and context are taken into consideration. As the saying goes, think globally but act locally, or think local but act globally. So now let's move on to the global and local teacher professional. Is there a difference? So let's see. So let's start first with global and local teacher education. So global education has been described by two definitions. So according to UNESCO, global education aims to educate everyone in accordance with international standards and aims to develop nations all over the world. So another meaning is that global education is a curriculum that is international in scope which equips today's students around the world to function in one world environment under instructors who are academically, professionally, and humanistically prepared. So SDG or Sustainable Development Goal has four. For education is one of the 17th goals of the United Nations. SDGs 7 of the 10 targets are expected outcomes, while 3 are means of achieving outcomes. And these outcomes targets bring together all member nations to expand beyond their geographical territories for global education. The following 7 SDG outcome targets must be met by 2030. So first is the universal primary and secondary education. It makes sure that all boys and girls receive a free, equitable, high quality primary and secondary education that produce useful and efficient learning outcomes. Next is the early childhood development and universal pre-primary education. So, it makes sure that all boys and girls have access to high quality pre-primary education so that they are prepared for primary education. Next is equal access to technical or vocational and higher education. So it guarantees that equitable access for all women and men to affordable and quality technical, vocational, and tertiary education that includes universities. So 4.4 is the relevant skills for decent work. It considerably increased the number of youth and adults who have necessary skills, including technical and vocational skills, for employment and decent careers and entrepreneurs. On 4.5, gender equality and inclusion. So, it eliminates gender gaps in education and providing fair access to all levels of education and vocational trainings for vulnerable, including persons with disabilities, indigenous people, and children in vulnerable situations. 4.6 is universal youth literacy. It ensured that all kids and considerable number of adults, both men and women, obtain literacy and numeracy. So last is 4.7, education for sustainable development and global citizenship. So it makes sure that all students gain the knowledge and abilities necessary to advance sustainable development, including but not limited to through instruction in sustainable living, human rights, gender equality, promoting a culture of peace and nonviolent global citizenship, and an appreciation of cultural diversity and its influence on sustainable development. So, through international collaboration for teacher training and developing nations, especially the least developed countries and island developing states, one way to attain the goal is to enhance and supply of qualified teachers. The goal of global education, according to Becker in 1988, is to enable individual students to view the world as a single, interconnected system in which they are participants. So, it is a school curriculum that adheres to global standard of instruction, and this curriculum gives students the global perspective and understanding they need to compete in global markets. So Becker emphasized that global education integrates knowledge and empathy of national and international cultures into the curriculum and educational experiences of each student in his article. So, the students are also encouraged to view the world holistically and learn about various cultures in order to better relate to and fit in with various cultural groups. So, the 21st century learning goals have thus been formed as a foundation of numerous curricula around the world in order to face the diverse global issues of the future. So, these learning goals include first, 21st century content, in emerging content areas such as global awareness, financial, economic, business, and entrepreneurial literacy, civic, civic literacy, health, and environmental awareness. So, in number two, learning and thinking skills. It includes the critical thinking and problem solving skills, communication, creativity and innovation, collaboration, contextual learning, information, and media literacy, such as ICT literacy, using technology in the context of learning so students know how to learn, life skills, leadership, ethics, accountability, personal responsibility, self-direction, and others. So, in 21st century assessments, it is a authentic assessment that measure the areas of learning. So the objectives of global education, on the other hand, as set forth by the United Nations, are achieved through diversity, understanding the distinction and teaching the various cultural groups in their own context. So, global teacher education responds to the need of the smallest schools to the largest classrooms in the world, responding to borderless education that defies distance and geographical location, making education global. It is preparing future teachers for their roles in 21st century classroom, from the remote to rural villages in developing countries of the slum areas, urbanized countries, to the extremely influential, economically stable societies of the world. So, as a result, global education offers all children in every community and locale within the global community an equal chance and access to knowledge and educational sources. Now let's move on to the global teacher to local teacher professionals. So, global teacher is a global teacher who is qualified and armed with necessary abilities, proper attitude, and universal values to instruct learners at home or abroad, but it is equipped with both time-tested as well as new technologies in education in any time and any place in the world. So, a global teacher is someone who thinks and acts both locally and globally with a worldwide viewpoint, yet is teaching in the communities, localities, towns, provinces, and regions where he or she is placed. So to be more specifically, a Glocal Filipino is distinguished by various features and attributes in addition to in-depth knowledge, functioning abilities, and embedded values. They also possess a future-focused perspective and envisions that the future will hold for both themselves and the students. The Glocal teachers also innovative and imaginative, comprehend, appreciate, and be tolerant to the plurality of cultures. Additionally, because the Filipino teachers are typically multilingual, they have effective communication skills, understanding of the framework and standards for teachers around the world, as well as competence in the Philippine Professional Standards for Teacher Beginning Teacher Competencies in PPST 2017. So the Glocal teacher or Glocal educators first understand the interconnectedness of the world. Second, recognize that there are many different ways of existence in the world. So second is they recognize that there are many different ways of existence in the world. Next, they have a clear understanding of what the future holds for both oneself and the students. They are imaginative and creative. They are also recognize, honor, and be tolerant the variety of cultures. They also believe in education that will sustain the future and take action to achieve it. Next is they facilitate learning using digital media. They also possess effective communication abilities and they are aware of the worldwide norms and framework for teachers. And the last is they master the competencies of the beginning teacher in the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers or PPST 2017. So now let's move on to the Glocal teacher must possess the following distinct characteristics and core values of Filipino teachers. So the following distinctive and fundamental values of Filipino teacher must also be possessed by global teachers in addition to aforementioned qualities, according to Master Plan for Teacher Education in 2017. So first, drawing on the culture and history of the students and the location to establish cultural and historical rootedness. Next is the capability to contextualize instruction by utilizing locally and indigenously produced materials, content, and technique where necessary. Third is outstanding performance in leadership, research, technology, innovation, and creativity, as well as in personal and professional skills. The fourth is respect and sensitivity for diversity and inclusiveness, learner-centeredness, social responsibility and service, and responsiveness. On the fifth bullet, it is stated that the accountability and integrity through serving as a positive role model who is committed, diligent, trustworthy, honest, and faithful. Next is ecological awareness by being diligent and responsible guardian of the environment. Next is maintaining one's civic duty and the Filipino identity in the face of globalization or glocalization. And the last is belief in divine providence by practicing kindness, justice, and respect for human rights. So according to Robertson in 1992, emphasizes that rootedness and sustainability of education is part of the Education 2030 goal. So as a result, a global teacher is also Glocal teacher and vice versa. So For our quiz, get any sheet of paper and answer the following questions. Read the instruction before you answer it. So let's check it after 5 minutes. Okay, are you done?
Yes, Mom.
So who wants to answer in number 1? Okay. Read and answer the number 1, please.
The concept of globalization came about in recent decades because the world has become borderless primarily due to advances in technology.
Okay, correct. How about number 2? Okay, Krisha.
Which statement is not true about professional teacher of 21st century? C. Blending the knowledge, skills, and values appropriate for the world but preserving those of one's own country is the essence of globalization.
Is it correct?
Yes,
Okay, very good. How about number 3? How about number 3?
Ma'am,
Okay, Anna.
when Roland Robertson started to use the phrase think local, act global, he meant that B. You should limit your lessons only to local knowledge, values, and aspirations.
Okay, correct. How about number 4?
To which does global village refer? A. Other countries abroad.
Okay, correct. How about number 5?
Which set of core values should a Filipino teacher possess to become a global teacher? A. Cultural and historical rootedness and nationalism.
Okay, correct. Who got a perfect score? So great. Most of you got a perfect score. So for our assignment, write an essay explaining the difference between global and local teachers. So that's all for today. Goodbye and thank you, class.
Goodbye
Goodbye
and
and thank
thank
you,
you,
Ma'am
Mom
Lauren.
Lauren.